Hello, I wanted to show you the design process we go through with designing the terrain. It starts with simple shapes. We print this, we test this, we check the sizes, and then we move on to adding some details with just sketches for the designers to know what they are doing to. This is color. Sometimes we have to print actually the names of the pieces so that we don't get confused. Yep. Then at some point I actually did those test pieces in color, hand painted, just testing the ideas, the designs. You can see the first idea for a glass with a greenery, shrubbery inside. Then different designs, like adding pieces in various places, testing what looks cool or not. Also the idea for this colorful room, and testing if like a splash of color on some sides would look good. Not in this case really. Then trying to find here if the small designs work better. We decided that it works nice here, but not on the whole. Then here was like a more modern design tested. We kind of like it, but we decided to put it on different walls than this with undercuts and the railings. It just didn't work well here. Here another insert of different color. We didn't like it. Testing some ideas. Yeah, and then this actually in some form went into the production. Like you can see on those pieces, these are not separate. So we changed that later. Here is a very first test of graphics. This one is mostly done. This one is just plain color. We use this to just see if we like the contrast. We liked it, but this needed to be worked on. Also, you can see like there are changes between this version and the final version. Like if you know, you know. Also, mistakes happen sometimes. Printing on the other side, that's the step to catch those, not later. Then our graphic designer decided, okay, I have something special to show you. And yeah, while we kind of like the detail, it just didn't fit with the overall aesthetic of this range. So we might keep it for, say, Ariadne range later. This is very cool, but not for this line. Also, we tested weird ideas, like we had glass domes already planned, so we thought, okay, maybe like fish tanks, but this was just weird for this piece. Then later you can see we added some details and like optional walls. This ended up rescaled, but in the final run, and then we trying to figure out what to put on the tops to make them less boring. This is more or less final design of the gate of the wall. We decided later to change to add more detail for the walls, but the gate stayed this way. Here is the mostly final design of hammam. You can compare it to my rendition earlier. Like yes, there is detail in the niches, but here is plain. Then we added those removable pieces here, just to make it, just to be able to assemble them better with other pieces, so we can have this continuous surface. Here you can see different ideas tested from the prototypes for hammam, like basically mixing and matching. I kinda like this. Also testing if this can house a model, and it can. Like 25mm base fits here. So maybe you can just put some places there, so you can actually put a sniper there in a position he cannot move away from. Here you can see the different ideas for the tops. This is what we started with. Then we played with scale. So this was obviously very wrong. This was just too busy. So we ended up for this. Like, this is better for the models themselves, but the terrain pieces are just too large. So this just looks too busy. Also, we added another scaled version of the graffiti. Here is the first color rendition of the terraforming tower. We played with the idea to have those glass maybe with the greenery inside, but when the tower was assembled it was just like a big black nothing, so we ditched the idea. Here is small iterations that happen. So first we added some detail, but then some more mistakes happened, like this thing here. You can notice this is not here, but somehow it ended up here, so we had to improve it to remove the little hole that had no place there. Also notice like this piece is very moved from the final position. Yeah, that's prototyping. Here is mostly basically done minaret. You can see we ditched the idea for splash of color here, it just didn't look right. Then we reworked the door, the window shape. We added extra elements you can add wherever you like, really. Just some blue tack here. Also, like those things can be added wherever you like. I kinda liked it. It can be moved into 3 different pieces, and this is hard. This is basically finished madrasa with all the little details. Yeah, it's blue tack, so it tends to move a little bit when you handle the terrain. Also with removable railings, so you can, thank you, so you can actually put 2 or more madrasas and hammams together so that they form continuous surface. I'm still not really happy with this area, but yeah, at some point we just had to decide to move on to the other pieces. Here you can see the final rendition of the terraforming tower. It has white and beige and green, and then some graphics with artwork. This is Dr. Jabir. He's from our Mercenaries League. This is just cool, cute, kawaii cats. So this was quite a big challenge to get those graphics, because those have to work both ways. Because you may want to have these pieces to allow the access of the model, or upside down, not allowing to place a model there. So yeah, that was a challenge. Also, yeah, things happen. So this is another one of the iterations. Like, we decided that we may want something added here, and the graphic designer added like those glass details, and we decided against those. So in the end you get this much sturdier looking piece. Similarly with those, we just scribbled some detail. That's a very... I like this piece because it can work any position to add vaulting height, or like hide a model, or you cannot place a model there, you can place a model here. It's an angle. It's very cool, but it's also very difficult to design graphics for something that can be placed in any orientation. I think our graphic designer, like with simplicity, he nailed it. So I hope you like this deep dive on the design process, like iterations. There are plenty of those. This is why it takes quite a long time to design terrain line from scratch, especially with totally new shapes. Like, one thing is just if we have basic shapes and just add a different color. That's sort of given, like, yeah, the aerographic designer is experienced enough to be able to do this in quite a manageable time. But to design totally different shapes and style, yeah, it takes a lot of actual iterations and back and forth. So, catch you later.